All right, guys. This next story comes to us from New York State. This is the story of Paislee Shultis, the little girl who was found hidden in a room under the stairs on Valentine's Day this year. Paislee had been reported as a missing child back in 2019 when she was just 4 years old. It's unknown why her parents lost custody of her and her then 13-year-old sister, but it's reported that a relative, possibly the maternal grandmother, was awarded custody of both girls. The parents were informed that the children's new guardian had already picked up their 13-year-old, so they fled with Paislee just before the authorities arrived to take her from them.
We're not here to hurt them. If they had complied with that court order 2 years ago, depending on what the deficiency was within a household that caused a judge to remove those children, there's a good possibility that they could have taken corrective action, and today they would have full custody of those kids. Now, I don't know, again, what the deficiency was, so that may or may not be the case. I am hoping that sometime in the future that the family has learned from this, and that with proper services put in place by county social services, by the Ulster County Family Child Advocacy Center, and by CPS, that eventually the family will gain the right to actually get the custody of their kids, which is ultimately what we're looking for.
For the next 2 years, Paislee remained missing. Even though authorities were certain she was with her biological parents, they did not know how to go about retrieving her. They went to the home of Paislee's paternal grandfather, Kirk Shultis Sr., many times over the years. Sometimes they were turned away immediately. Other times they were allowed in the home for limited searches. Every time, Grandpa's story was the same. He had no idea where Paislee was. The last time he'd seen her was in 2019. He was sure she was with her mother and that her mother had fled New York and gone somewhere in Pennsylvania. Points unknown. Each time they visited the Shultis home, the police had to leave empty-handed, and each and every time they felt certain that the grandpa was lying. When I used Google to look at the address, I could see that the house is set away from the road, the neighbors are far away, and there is vegetation, all around by the house, and you really couldn't see who was out there and playing on the playground. She even had awesome playground equipment there, and it's unlikely people would have seen her playing. Finally, on February 14th, 2022, they received a credible tip. Someone who had first-hand knowledge told them that Paislee Shultis was inside her grandfather's house and had been there all along. Later that evening, officers served a warrant at the home. Paislee's father and grandfather were both home and both denied that Paislee was there. But this time, with the warrant in hand, the officers could look anywhere they pleased. When they reached the basement of the home, they discovered that it had been made into a complete apartment with a kitchen, a living room, and bedrooms, including a child's bedroom with Paislee's name on the wall. The bed in Paislee's room appeared to have been slept in, and clothing items were spread about. Both Paislee's dad and grandpa denied that she was there or had ever been there. They stated that the room was just made for in case Paislee were to ever be found and returned to them. Officers searched for over an hour with no sign of Paislee. They kept searching, and finally, an officer looked at the basement stairs. Something about their construction just did not look right to him. He took a closer look, and utilizing his flashlight, he was able to peer through a crack in the stairs, and he spotted what he believed was a part of a blanket. So, he began lifting up the tops of the stairs. And as he pulled them up, he peered inside with his flashlight, and he began to spot other interesting things. Besides blankets, he discovered a child's rubber boot, stuffed animals, pillow, and eventually some small feet hiding in the blankets. As more stair steps were removed, a small room beneath the stairs was revealed, along with Paislee and her mother, Kimberly Shultis. The girl and her mother had been hiding in there under the stairs, wrapped in damp blankets on the cold concrete floor for hours, not making a single sound. The authorities believed that these past years, each time they searched that home, Paislee and her mother hid there under the stairs in that very same space.
He took a flashlight and looked between the cracks between the steps. He saw what he thought was a blanket. And at that point they used an halogen tool, a forcible entry tool, and they started ripping the steps off the staircase itself. And at one point they saw little feet, as he put it.
While it's unknown why Kirk and Kimberly originally lost custody of their children, it appears that at the time of Paislee's disappearance, Kimberly was going by her maiden name of Cooper. It is said that Kimberly's mother is the court-appointed guardian of the children. Whatever the case may be, it is unknown how long it will be before the Shultis family is reunited. Paislee's parents and grandfather are facing charges of child endangerment and custodial interference. They could be facing up to 4 years in prison on those charges alone. Paislee's mother also had misdemeanor warrants from family court. All 3 adults are currently out on bond. Kimberly Shultis' next court date is March 2nd, and both Shultis men will be in court on April 27th. All 3 of them have been served with stay-away orders regarding Paislee.
Your name's Kimberly Ann Shultis. What's your date of birth? 10/11/88. Okay. This is an order of protection.
And authorities state that Paislee was traumatized when she was first discovered by the fully armed officers, but she calmed down a lot by the time the officers drove past a McDonald's. Paislee mentioned to them that she really likes Happy Meals, but she hadn't had one in a long time, so they turned that car around and got her a Happy Meal. Paislee is in good health, but authorities are worried that their initial interview with Paislee indicated that she does not read or write, and at 6.5 years old, they do not believe she was being homeschooled, and they know that she has not attended public school these past 2 years.
Number one, this little girl didn't have an opportunity to go to school. Okay, and we're pretty certain that she probably wasn't receiving proper medical attention. Obviously the family just couldn't take her to a doctor because she was a reported missing person.
Paislee has now been reunited with her guardian, who we believe is her grandmother, and her older sister, who is now 16 years old. Paislee appears to be in good spirits.
I'm just shocked because they seem like just regular people.
Please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.